I can say here definitively the K-shaped economy is over, and we're seeing more of a C economy where the lower end of wage earners are finally calling it back, just like they did in President Trump's first term.
Joining us now, Chief Investment Officer at Siebert Financial, Mark Malek, along with the host of Wise Guys here on Newsmax, John Tobacco. Gentlemen, always a pleasure to have you both here with us on set.
Love it.
Great to be here.
So explain to us what we just read, because I don't know. No, I'm kidding. But explain it, though, for the audience here. The gap
in layman's
is
terms, yes.
Yeah, well, it's really good news, right? Because the K is what we've been watching very, very closely since the pandemic, and we've only been hearing that K is getting wider. We talk about it here sometimes, but when we get a bit of data that shows us that maybe that K is closing up a little bit, especially when the lower end of the K is getting the benefit here, we take notice. So it's a very positive thing. That means people with lower income are actually growing their expenditures faster than the people with higher income. And we like to see that. We want to know what's causing that.
And I want to throw it out to either one of you to explain what the K means besides being the first letter of my name. What does it actually mean in this case?
Well, I mean, that's the most important K,
I know,
obviously. But I'm going to give that to the esteemed economist over there. He does the alphabets and the Latins and the Greeks and stuff. I don't do that.
All right.
All right, we'll stick with the regular K. No Greeks or anything like that here. But so since the pandemic, right, so what we've seen is an acceleration of wealth on the wealthier people and a deceleration of wealth building on the lower income. A lot of that had to do with, again, the wealth effect, right? People had stocks, the stock market went up. People had assets like homes went up, and people were doing well up on top. But the people that were left in the dust were the bulk of the economy, the bulk of the people that we want to talk about. They got left in the dust. And so it's nice to see. And again, we saw a lot of people falling from that top K to the low K. So when we hear about that, again, that K, that divide, we like to hear something a little bit more even, right? So that's why we're happy to hear this.
I hear K. I hear K. I think about one of my first cars, a K car. You know what I mean? I also think about what club kids love to do. But, you know, Mark, I've spent 20-some-odd years trying to learn from him. So when he speaks, I speak dolphin speak. I understand that, and I speak regular people speak also. And really what he's saying, the rich were getting richer, the poor were getting poorer. So it was going like that, in the wrong direction. And now, you know, real wages under Joe Biden were actually minus over his 4 years. Now real wages are plus. So that's not just a plus. That's a plus made up the minus. So we're exponentially having growth in real wages. That goes in everyone's pocket. So the people on the lower end, their edge of the K is coming up. The other people are still going up, but they're paying a little more taxes, even under the big, beautiful tax bill. So they're coming down a little bit. So we want to see, you know, that K close a little bit. And I think Trump's economic policies are making the people on the low end with the tax cut and everything else, they're putting a little more in their pocket. And the rich people, they're like, we'll pay a little more. We like where America's going.
Sure. 100% right. I mean, the taxes have everything to do with it, and that's where we put our finger to. We know that the taxes have helped out a lot with a lower K.
Real quick.
That's a big factor.
Real quick. Want to get to this. We got two little good nuggets here for the economy as well. 3.4% inflation rate. All right, only went up 0.1 in July. Also, on top of that, we got construction jobs, too. This is another thing, Mark, we were talking about before the segment here. Construction with an increase of 30,000 private sector jobs in July. The total for the year increase in construction, 426,000. So just dissect that for us here.
Well, that's the good news in some of the rougher news in the report that we got last Friday. So we see construction jobs expanding. That could also have an impact on what we're discussing here now. A lot of that is from AI, like these AI build-outs, but it's generally non-residential. So it's not just AI, but it's nice to know that those jobs are here, and we see manufacturing also growing in the last 6 months. So that is a big factor in driving, again, that lower end of the K, where those jobs are needed, where that income is needed right now.
All right.
Yeah, look, when the lower people on the income scale start to make more, that's great for the economy. And when they tell us, you know, well, we need lower inflation to lower rates, and that'll spur on home buying, and there'll be even more construction jobs. And the one thing people forget is Trump's had about 1 million jobs in the private sector since he came in, and all the minuses are public. Right. So that's what we want to see, really.
Some good news.
Exactly.
Let's keep it going.
We'll
all right.
take it.
Yeah. All right. Mark, John, thank you so much.
You got it.
Okay, the Department of Justice filing lawsuits against New York, Connecticut, and Vermont, accusing them of providing in-state college tuition to illegal aliens. Details coming up.
But first, New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani's own police department just called his bluff. City Hall says his wife would get an NYPD security detail for a trip to Syria and Lebanon. The NYPD says not so fast. Details next.
God, I'd kill for an old-fashioned. How do you do that?
Bonds. Corporate bonds.